and stuff I talk about, people tend to only, some interesting research that you've done here, people tend to talk about stuff for about 6 weeks. 6 weeks is when we've measured buzz, and when you measure buzz online, it tends to work about 6 weeks. And then you need to, as Paul's saying, you need to inject some more, you need to inject something new into it. People talk about new stuff, people don't talk about wallpaper stuff, which is why brands need to reinvent themselves to actually be new every time. They need to be new sells, and so it's that constant reinvention, which is very scary for some brands. They need to do that. So it is buzz, empty buzz particularly, can be really short term. When it becomes impactful is when you actually hardwire talkability into the product, when you start bringing your agency into the new development process, when you start bringing them into the innovation process, as we're saying, the technology solutions rather than necessarily creative abstract solutions, technology solutions, creativity, when you can hardwire creativity into the product and create those conversations go on and on and on.
Thank you. Another question that I think I'd like to hand over to Bob is a lot of the work that we've been seeing this week and that was submitted to this festival. One of the questions from the audience is how much of what we're talking about, this change in communication that we're seeing, the importance of advocacy and word of mouth, how much of this change that we've been hearing for the last hour and a half, 2 hours, have you seen reflected in the work submitted this year?
You know, we're starting to see more and more of it. And there was another question in there about Russia. It's kind of related. Maybe I'll take both at the same time. There were probably 2 or 3 that used a traditional medium to push to a website that was not part of, say, if we were judging the print portion of the program. But it was a very intriguing thing that made you want to go to a website. Every single piece we saw, generally, had a URL at the end, which, looking back in years past, into the show 5 or 6 years ago, not so much. So I think you're starting to see the beginning of these types of conversations. Is it as advanced as it is in other markets? No. In a really large market like Russia, where it's still a mass communication format, the question is, will it ever be bridged? And the answer is yes. And it's just a matter of time. It's probably more sooner than later.
I think also to the Russian question about how do you get contagious ideas into traditional markets is that you just have to. It's an imperative. But I think equally it boils down to that percentage of risk. You've got to start persuading clients to say, okay, you still need, that's why I showed the sort of 2-track campaigns, you still need the mass media because it's still valid, it's still important, it's still part of the tradition, but equally let's take 25% of the budget. Use that to experiment. And some of the stuff that I showed is not expensive to make. Some of these ideas like IKEA and Kate Modern, you can shoot a drama series, £8,000 an episode. So you've just got to start experimenting. And these things, particularly when they're online, they're incredibly trackable. You can see how effective they are, but also it allows you to converse with a brand. So to clients, I would just say, don't be afraid not to create advertising.
Can I just to add to that? I think that money talks in pretty much any market, and the link between the number of conversations you create and sales is very, very compelling. So if conversations are the output of good marketing, it's not kind of advertising versus conversations. It's how can marketing create